Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm going to talk today about white poverty in South Africa, and it's something that I really didn't want to address before, and the reasons being is because even nowadays, okay, blacks, South Africans are being way more affected by poverty than white South Africans. Same with colored South Africans, okay? The reason that I'm going to address this, though, is because about 40% of white South Africans are living at or below the poverty line. Yes, it's way less than black South Africans. Their per capita income is way higher. And I'm not necessarily blaming the end of apartheid for this, okay? Because during apartheid, whites were guaranteed a job based on the color of their skin. And when apartheid ended in 1994, that was just not the case. I mean, they weren't going to keep their jobs anymore because they were white. That's part of it, actually. But here is the thing, okay? There are churches now in South Africa that are not going to the white squatter camps and helping the impoverished white children. Like, a lot of the people in the white squatter camps are children, and they're not getting the help that they need simply because the kids are white. And that is just despicable and disgraceful. Okay, Lauren Southern went down to some of these white squatter camps, and she had interviewed several people, and she was one of the first ones to have helped them, because one of the people that she interviewed said that that nobody would help them just simply because they're white. And there are a lot of soup kitchens and a lot of churches that will take somebody in that's an impoverished black South African or impoverished colored South African. But when it comes to a white South African that's impoverished, they do not get the attention that they need compared to black and colored South Africans that are living in poverty. And that is just despicable and disgraceful. And if you go to these squatter camps too, there are white people that do have degrees, that have engineering degrees. There are engineers in the squatter camps that have been laid off when black economic empowerment came in place. Well, the reason there are power outages that happen in South Africa, or blackouts, and the dams aren't functioning like they used to, is because the experienced engineers that got a lot of their education, they were laid off simply because they were white, and they had to go to the squatter camps because they couldn't find any more work because they were white. That happened as well. Like I said, apartheid's part of this, and when apartheid was over, the people did not have a job because they were white, but then at the same time, there were a lot of competent white people that got removed and replaced, and they were highly educated and highly competent, but they can't find work just simply because they're white. And then they get ignored by a lot of government, not just the churches that ignore them, but there are a lot of government organizations out there that ignore them as well. And the South African government does not pay attention to the white poverty as much as it does the black poverty. And a lot of these impoverished white South Africans are not getting stipends from the government, and they're not getting unemployment checks from the government. And that's just despicable and disgraceful. Some are. I mean, some are. I'm not going to say all of them are not, because there are some that are, but then there are also plenty that are not. And it's just very disgraceful. And the government is pretending that these white squatter camps don't exist, which in fact they do exist. And they do exist, but the government basically, the South African government basically denies that the white squatter camps don't exist, and they in fact do exist. Or if it's known that they exist, the government just turns the other way and just doesn't acknowledge it, and they don't want to deal with it just because these people are white, and that is despicable, it's racist, and it's disgraceful. Anyways, hope everyone's doing well. Take care. God bless them. Bye bye.